So if we start left to right and we start with Octane, man, he's S or A tier. I haven't used him after his nerf, but he's definitely S or A. I'm gonna have to go with A because he's very bad at micro rotations because his pad is hard to like do a very small rotate with Octane. And I feel like that's the only thing holding him back from being higher is the fact he can't micro rotate. But other than that, he's like one of the best legends in the game for being aggressive. So honestly, I think he's an A tier. Without a doubt. Okay. Now that's Octane, so we move on to Pathfinder. I also want to say A tier with no low profile. Yeah, I'm gonna go A tier. I think he's A tier, to be honest. I think good Pathfinder mains can make this man an A tier character. Now hear me out. The reason why I think he's A tier is because he's still the best character in the game for getting large distances and taking height at multiple different levels or full sending. The reason why I think Path is A tier is because if you play like comp with a Pathfinder and your teammates get someone really low, Pathfinder just grapples into him and trades his life. He's so good at securing kills. Yeah, I think he's A tier, to be honest. His ability to secure a kill like other legends can't is very high. Rampart. Man, this is probably an F tier character. I'm gonna be honest. I just don't see this character being good at all ever. Yeah, this is F tier, to be honest. Now I'll explain why I'm saying F. And the reason is Apex is not a good camp game, which she's a camp character. Not to mention, if you ever see a Rampart with the shield set up, you can literally just keep strafe, like you can side peek a wall or something and break her window without her ever shooting you. If she gets on her turret, that's a free kill. Apex is all about movement, and anytime you're stationary, like being on a turret, she just it's not good. And Rampart is like the embodiment of not moving. Plus, why make cover when there's cover in Apex for you? Like that's the way I see it, to be honest. Just useless. We move on to Watson. Now when I place Watson in this list, I am placing her within mind that her fences are not bugged. I know her fences are bugged right now, but we're going to pretend like they aren't bugged. So with this being said, she's got to be C tier. And I feel like C's kind of generous. Right now, she might be D. Legitimately might even be D tier, but we're going to be generous with C. The reason is she's just outclassed. The meta has just became Edge, where you could just play Edge's zone and then rotate in late with like Gibby and make huge plays. And anytime you have an aggressive meta like we have right now, this character's useless. Not to mention, even when you have fences up, it's still easy to push her. So I guess the reason why I'm putting her in C is because there's just better picks. I guess I would say power creep. The game's power creep has just got to the point where she's just not that relevant anymore. She's outpowered by a lot of people. She does have her strengths though. The gen is nice, but I definitely think gen should be infinite. If they go back to infinite gen, I could see Watts. If infinite gen was a thing, I'd put her up here in A tier, to be honest. But for now, she stays C. This is easy. Easy S tier. Do I even need to explain why Wraith is S tier? I feel like we all already know. Wraith can literally just take angles and solo hold areas for presence. He's like the best character in the game at showing presence and being able to escape. Not to mention, she has the only rotational tool in the game that can guarantee your team not to take damage doing it. And in a game like Apex, having a rotation that is guaranteed to be safe is, I think, the most important thing in the entire game. So no matter what they do to Wraith, as long as she has a good portal, she'll always be S tier. The Q is like 50-50, to be honest. The Q is decent. It's not like insane or anything, but yeah, the portal is huge. I'm gonna put Fuse in C. And the reason being, okay, hear me out. Fuse's ult is terrible. But in like comp, okay, keep in mind I'm trying to take perspectives as like a comp player as well. Nades are huge in comp, and Fuse can carry 2 nades per stack, and his nades go crazy. He shoots nades further and faster, and he can carry 2. His Q can blow up doors, and you can stick people with his Q, and if they run away, it keeps blowing up on them so you can see him. I don't think he's like, I don't see him being in meta for a while, to be honest. But if they made Fuse's ult good, I honestly could see Fuse being a meta character, no joke. But right now, he's not good enough to be up there yet. Revenant. Man, I'm so torn on Revenant. I legitimately don't know how I feel about this character. I want to say B tier. Honestly, yeah, I'm saying Revenant B tier because you get a second life with his ult. The reason why Rev is B tier, because one, his silence technically counters every character in the game. Literally every character in the game is countered by his silence. And it makes Gibby have no gun shield when you hit him with it too. So you can actually make Gibby an easy 1v1 if you hit him with it. Not to mention, getting a second life with Revenant Totem is insane. Apex is all about third partying, and this man is like the king of third party. Because you get to do it without a risk. I think he belongs in B. You just have to be good with them, because he dies pretty easily, but you have to be good. Valkyrie. Alright, this is the new character, and I feel like this is the one people will want to know about the most. And here's my opinion on Valkyrie. I think she's S tier. You get to take height without an ability. Keep in mind, her jetpack literally can take height at any time, as long as you have fuel. And height's important. Her ult is the best rotational ult in the entire game. You can fly over every single mountain in the game. And her tactical's okay. It's not broken, but the stun could change the fight. If you stun someone mid-fight, you could actually win it off that alone. I don't think she's broken, and I don't think she's underpowered. I think she's balanced, but the utility she offers is S tier. Like, say there's a trials ending on World's Edge, and there's a team, top trials. Normally that team up there will win the game every time. But with her, you can ult and fly on top of the rock of trials and force that team to jump off, and you just shoot them from the top of the rock. Like, the outplay potential with her ult is insane. Like, without a doubt, she's an S tier. Now we move on to Crypto. I feel like Crypto is a B tier character, because in the right hands, he's a good character. If you're a bad player, he's definitely like E or F, but if you're a good player, it's like B. Okay, now I'm going under the assumption you're a good player. Crypto's a B tier. Because his ult, right now the meta consists of Gibby. Like, every comp, no matter what you're running, has a Gibby on it. And Crypto can just EMP the bubble. And you normally get free kills off of EMP no dome. Not to mention, he can scan beacons without ever risking his life using drone. And he can scout ahead. You can use your drone to find out where you want to go without actually risking anyone's life to go look. Yeah, plus rezzing teammates with a drone is pretty cool. Competitively, the Crypto res is pretty insane. But I feel like there's not much more to say about him. I feel like he's kind of one-dimensional. And his outplay potential isn't that big, but it's there. Caustic. Okay, if we were talking pre-nerf Caustic, he would be S tier, without a doubt. But right now, I think Caustic is A tier still. I legitimately think he's A tier. So there's a golden rule with Caustic. Here's what you have to remember. The less Caustics there are in a lobby, the better Caustic is. Because the only character in the game who counters Caustic is Caustic. If you play Apex, you know that is true. And he's still way harder to push than Watson is. Way harder. Not to mention you can throw his ult, so he can be an aggressive character at the same time. You could argue B tier with Caustic, to be honest, but I still think he's pretty good right now. I think he's all around balanced and he has really good utility. I'm gonna leave him A tier. I think he's good for A tier. If we're talking Gibby, this is S tier. Gibby has been S tier for like months. This man has been S tier for like 5 seasons at this point. The reason why Gibby is S tier, anyone not playing Gibby, keep this in mind. Gibby is the best reset character in the entire game, not to mention the best anti-third party character in the game. Not only that, he's the best legend in the game for pushing people. If someone's camping somewhere that you can't push, you dome forward and then you push in your dome and then you can push. On top of that, he has a gun shield, which makes him the hardest character in the game to 1v1. The only downside to Gibby is his hitbox. Other than that, legitimately, he's probably the best character in the game. Nobody even comes close to this man. You can use his ult to burn other Gibby's bubbles, and then if they bubble, you bubble after, and then you win the fight. Because that's how Gibby versus Gibby works. Whoever domes last wins. Oh man, we're doing Horizon after nerf. I hate to say it, but I think Horizon's a D tier character now. Dude, she's bad. I feel like what made her good was her Q. Her ult's annoying, but her ult is kind of hard to be consistent with. But her Q was just insane last season, but now it's just useless. I don't see why you would play Horizon over Octane or Pathfinder. I feel like there's not much to explain here. She's just too slow now. She can't get in and out of fights really quickly anymore with her Q. And that's what made her such a good character. But now that's nerfed, I just don't think she's worth using. Her passive is really good. But I think her ult and her passive are the only good thing she has now. Her tactical, it's weak. I'm going to put Lifeline in B tier. Because I know they just did the rework on her. And everyone is complaining that she didn't need to get nerfed. But in my opinion, I think Lifeline is better than last season. I don't even care about the res shield. I legitimately just think she's better than she was. The ability to res both your teammates now without having to actually do it yourself and you can still defend them is insane. Not to mention, she's a really good Brawl legend now. And by Brawl legend, I mean she can take 1v1s and just put her drone down next to her and fight off her drone and keep healing while she's fighting. Dude, she's super hard to fight now. Like, a good Lifeline can win 1v1s pretty easily. I mean, her package is pretty straightforward, right? You just get decent loot out of it. And on top of that, low profile doesn't exist anymore, and she has the smallest hitbox in the game now. But I wouldn't replace her with any other legends. If I had to pick a meta comp, I wouldn't put her in it. That's why I'm putting her in B tier. You know what? We're moving on to Lobo, and I'm going to say it, A tier. Nobody plays her, but she's good. I don't know why nobody plays her now. I know more people do, but she's really good. Her black market can take all ammo, literally every single ammo within a giant radius around her for her entire team. And her bracelet is good now. The reason why she was bad before is because the animation of throwing the bracelet and landing was terrible. But they made both of those good in Season 9. I actually think she's a good character. You can run away from fights really easily with her Q now, and you can take height with her Q. I think she's all around just a good character. I don't think she needs any buffs or nerfs right now, and I think she's just a really good team player. I think she's underrated. Okay, we're on Mirage. We're going to put him in E tier because I feel like F tier should just be Rampart. Like, this shouldn't even say F, this should just say Rampart. Because that's on a whole nother level of bad right here. And the reason why I'm putting Mirage in E is literally just because he's not Rampart. When Mirage ults, it's easy to tell which one is the real one. Not to mention his tactical is literally just a worse form of his ult. And his ult's not even good to begin with. This is like the embodiment of just a pub character at best. I would not put this man anywhere above E tier. But I will put him above Rampart tier. You guys want a tip? You want to know how you find the real Mirage? When Mirage ults, the little spikes on his arm glow blue. None of his decoys will glow blue but his. That's how you know when he ults which one is him. So just remember that if you ever face one. I'm going to go with Bangalore in A tier. And here's why. We're in a Bloodhound meta, so Bangalore isn't that good right now. But if Bloodhound wasn't a meta character, I think she would be one of the most underrated characters in the game. Her smokes are really good now. Not to mention her ult is like the best zoning ult in the entire game. Plus her passive, I would argue her passive is one of the best passives in the game too, at the same time. If you removed Bloodhound from the game, I might even argue she's an S tier character because of how good she can rotate with smokes. Not to mention just a really good 1v1er with her passive. Yeah, honestly, it hurts we're in a Bloodhound meta, but she would be a really good character if not. The thing is with Bangalore, I feel like you can't be a bad player. If you're a good player, then she's like an A tier, but if you're a bad player, she's probably around like C or D, to be honest. If we're talking a good Bang player, A tier. You know what? Yeah, we're going to move Lobo to B because she doesn't offer as much value as a lot of the other legends do in a team fight. I think she's really good. But now that I reconsider it, yeah, probably a B tier. Now moving on to the character I hate most in the entire game. Bloodhound is literally the character I hate the most in this game. With that being said though, definitely an S tier character. And the reason why I'm saying Bloodhound is S tier is because my 75-year-old grandma could install Apex and play Bloodhound and probably contribute more in a team fight than most Pred players. This character gives you way too much value with no skill needed. Not to mention he's been a comp meta character for 4 seasons now. Battle Royales are all about info. Normally the team who has the most info wins, and this character just gives you so much for free. All you do is press Q, or you press the controller button for your tactical, I don't know what it is on controller, and then you get so much free value. Every 25, 30 seconds, whatever it is. It's insane. Yeah, he is S tier. And he has no direct counters to him really. There's no way to counter him. He's a better crypto. Honestly, the reason why I'm giving him S tier is because of how rewarding he is no matter how bad you are at the game. After reconsidering, we are going to move Fuse to D. Because yeah, now that I think about it, without grenades, Fuse is awful. The only reason why Fuse is good is if he has stacked nades, and then you can, in comp, in ranked especially, there's a lot of times where you're not even going to have nades to begin with. Well, that's it for my tier list, and if you guys are interested, just leave a comment and tell me how you feel. Tell me if you think some characters are where they belong or what characters aren't where they belong. And yeah, just let me know how you feel about the tier list. Thanks for watching.